our customer support. These guys are amazing. So if you have any questions, 24/7, they're available. A couple training catalog for some quick videos, some commonly asked questions. So we'll just go ahead and hit start now. Okay. And then are there any states in particular that you're having issues with?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. We'll just run through a New York one then real quick. So you select your state, and then you come over here and you select your dealership. So our title is Title Tech. So it's actually located out of Florida. So you'll see Florida down the road, but that's just to let you know when you see Florida. So this is where you would enter your deal number and then hit load deal, and it would pull over from your DMS if that's something that you wanted to be integrated. So it pulls over.
With most DMSs, I assume.
Yes, you said you had Dealer Track. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. So we integrate with you guys.
We also use another DMS called Dealer Cloud, but I don't think you integrate with them.
I
I'll
can
verify.
check on. Okay.
Yeah, I'll verify. I'll let her keep going, and I'll give it to you at the end. Let you know.
Okay.
So then you would just put your VIN number. If you needed to load vehicle, it'd pull it over. What type is it? It's SUV. Purchase type, you can do cash, finance, or lease. For the demo, I'll do finance. And plate transfer, yes or no. That doesn't actually complete the transfer. That's just for the paperwork. So full deal or fee calculation only. So you can go back into the deal and change it as many times as you need to, and it only charges you the one-time fee as long as you stay under the same deal number. So this is just going to tell you anything you need to know for the state of New York, an emission notice and a transfer restriction. You click continue. It usually goes faster than this. My internet's just kind of slow today. So anything you see here in red, you're just going to fill out. So I'll just do mine real quick.
Would this normally pull from the DMS?
Yes. Yes. All this would be there. So we'll just fill out some information so you can see where it would come. I'll just make myself super old. Come over like on the back side. Cool. Okay. Then you just hit next. So here's your VIN where this pops up. It'll say select a status. So if it's used, it's going to ask you for the previous title state. So for now, we'll just do it new. You can do private, commercial, shipping weight. You know, again, all this stuff that's in red needs to be filled out, but the more you fill out, the more it shows up on the back end. So this is where you can do your trade-ins. We kind of joke here, we allow up to 4. We have seen dealerships that have had more, so we can do up to 8. You just have to call the help desk to add more. So this is where your purchase price would come in. And anything in red, again, has to be filled out. So it's like a calculator. So if you do have, you know, extended warranties or undercoating, manufacturer rebates, you know, anything you're doing, that is where you would fill that out. I'm gonna right here, this NAP processing fee. So our fee is $90.98 per deal. And then most of our dealerships upcharge that so that they can help recoup the document charges. And then also the subscription is $90 a month. So you can just leave this at a flat rate if you want. And just on every out-of-state deal, you charge $150 if that's something you choose to do.
Okay. And I'm sorry, your fee you said was 90 something?
It's $90.98 per deal. Yeah.
Okay. Plus whatever the registration costs. Yeah.
So it's a $90 a month subscription and then $90.98 per deal.
Yeah,
it.
and the 90.98 is our flat rate per state, so it's not going to vary at that point.
Got it.
Any questions before I move on?
Nope. Makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So this is where the lien perfection would come in. Whatever lien holder you're using, you would just fill out that information. Next. So your registration information, the county,
Doesn't this
the city.
automatically come from the zip code?
Brittany.
Usually it does. Sometimes the system doesn't fully kick everything over. So I would just prepare, occasionally you'll have to fill this out.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
it might not have pulled over because I didn't enter the zip code for Albany, New York. The DMV location, you can send it closest to where the customer lives. Or we do have private tag agencies to where, like this one, the fee is an additional $115, or this one's $239. But the private tag agencies, they can usually turn around paperwork in 2 to 3 business days. So instead of sending it to the DMV for the out of state registration, and it taken, however long the DMV takes, because we don't really have control over that. If you were wanting it done quicker, you could send it to a private tag agency. They have more incentive to get it done a little quicker than the DMV. So
I'll just charge 100 to 200 extra.
Yes.
What's the other option? Just the tag agency then, or just the?
So this is the private tag agency. The other option
DMV.
is just the DMV, and it's going to give you the primary location as to where to send it, like the address and everything.
And just a additional note to add on to the private tag agency. That's something that you can pass along the cost to your customer. I'm going to have her run the deal with the private tag agency so you can see where those fees are calculated and, how they are passed on to the customer from there.
Do most dealers do just the standard DMV, or a lot of dealers doing the private tag?
It's kind of a mix right now. So I think with how long the DMVs are taking, we're seeing more shift to the private tag agencies. But there are still, the DMV is still reliable. It's still going to get your paperwork done. But it's all dependent on your customer. And let's say, maybe it took your customer longer to sign their documents if you have to send this off to them and they weren't signed at your dealership. Then, you could say, hey, well, it's going to be an additional $115 because, we have to get it done before the temp tag expires. And the private tag agency can guarantee that.
Got it.
So,
and you said it's usually a 2 to 3 day turnaround for them?
Yeah, about 2 to 3 business days, usually, especially with our one in New York. They're phenomenal.
Got it. And then let's say you send it to the DMV and it's taking too long, can you then switch it? Is that possible?
So I do believe you can. That's not something that I've ever run into before. So I can kind of verify that a little bit further. I don't think there would be an issue with it. You would probably just have to notify the DMV that you're going with another option.
Got it.
That way they don't have 2 sets of title work laying around,
Sure.
Yeah. Any other questions about the PTA?
No.
Awesome. All right, take it back over, Crystal.
All right, so this calculates your fees. So anytime you see it in blue, that's when you're going to be charged that transactional fee.
Got it.
Okay, so this is where it tells you the taxable amount for New York. So here's that private tag agency fee right here, and then that NAP processing fee. And as I mentioned in the beginning, our Title Tech training portal is out of Florida. So there's where the reciprocity tax comes in. I'm not for sure if New Jersey does that or not. But that's where that would come in at. And then to print the registration forms, it's going to generate them for you. And New York has the most paperwork, I think just about of any state. So again, anything that I had filled out shows up here. So if it pulls over from, dealer track, excuse me, from your DMS, it would all be right here.
Okay.
And then, stop, pay close attention to checks payable section. Any place you see in yellow is going to be a wet signature required. And then here's a checklist of what to send. And they've kind of put in red where they've seen not everything was done right the first time. So just to kind of pay attention when sending all that in. Here's your title transfer, payment information. It's going to tell you there's two. Make one out to that. This is the private tag agency.
Can you guys automatically just pull it from our bank account, or do we have to write checks?
For the fees or for
For both.
it, what you're sending in?
Yeah, for both.
So for
I'll
your
go
month,
ahead and
go ahead.
I'll go ahead and take that one. Whenever you are set up originally, it does come out of your ACH because we have you set up on an ACH form. So that's going to be our fee will come out that way. You can decide if it's daily, weekly, or monthly that you want it to come out. As far as, sending everything to the state, we're not electronically connected with these states, unfortunately. So as of right now, you will have to send out a physical check in the mail.
For the registration fees or for the
For the registration fees.
Yeah.
So all the fees that we told you to collect, that's where you'll have to send it. You'll have to write a check and then, cut it out to if you're using the PTA, that Maggard Information Associates.
Okay, so you have to write technically two checks, right? One to the tag agency and then one to.
No, it's just one. So if you're only using a private tag agency, you don't have to send it to the commissioners. But if you're using the DMV, then you'll have to send it to that NYS commissioner.
And
Does that make sense?
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you send it to the tag agency, they'll actually handle that reciprocity tax for you and send everything where it needs to go.
Okay.
That's another reason we like them so much.
And then here it'll tell you the mailing instructions for that tag agency. This is where you fill in your dealership contacts, your license plate destination form. You can select if you want it to be sent to the owner of the vehicle now or to your dealership. You send it FedEx, UPS. This is just about the private tag agency. Just some more New York paperwork. This is another fee page where everything's just kind of detailed out for you. Statement of transfer. And then lastly is the odometer. And again, anything yellow requires a wet signature.
Got it.
So do you have any questions about anything?
No, I think everything makes sense. Is there anything else you think I should know?
Nope, that's how easy it is to run an out-of-state deal and send it straight to either the private tag agency or the DMV. How does this compare to what you guys currently are using?
I think it's pretty similar. We've used a couple products. Like sometimes for some local states, we just go directly through a tag agency that we know. If we just go direct, and then sometimes we've used a more national firm like you guys. But if the biggest thing is we have to usually retype everything in from our DMS, so the fact that you guys can pull it is actually really helpful for us.
Okay.
Right now it's just a manual process, so it could for sure help us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys, it sounds like you have relationships with other agencies as well. So you can always print off this paperwork and still utilize your agency if that's what you guys want to do.
Got it. Does it
Yeah.
say how much to write the check out for, or do you just write out blank checks to these guys?
That was on our fee calculation. If you'll minimize these documents, it'll bring us back to the
Oh, I'm sorry.
fee calculator.
Oh, right here.
So here it'll tell you the total amount that you need to collect. You would take that number and add it to the total at the top, that $19,000. So, I mean, I'm not great with math, but I mean, I guess $23,000. But you'll need to send
This total
that
amount is like
$2,000.
2,000. Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
just the taxable amount. Okay, so you'd be
Yeah.
writing a check for that $2,000 number for the need.
My bad. I said that wrong. I'm sorry, man.
Okay. No worries.
But yeah, you'll cut a check for that $2,000, and then of course you'll add that to the total up top. That way you can provide that to your customer.
Okay. Anything else you guys think I should know?
Not at this point, but I did go ahead and record this for you. That way, you know, if you guys do need to take it to someone else, get some final opinions, then you do have a quick little demo video to share with them as well.
Got it.
And I included it in the chat, but when I was looking over it, we do not have Dealer Cloud at this moment.
Okay.
I do believe we're in talks with them about potentially integrating with their software.
Okay.
But those deals usually take a little while, so
Sure.
I wouldn't expect it for at least 6 months.
Got it. Okay.
Just to be straightforward.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're gonna be going to the NIADA show next week, so we're gonna kind of make our final decision after that show. But everything looks good so far.
Okay. And we do have we'll have a booth out there. We
Nice.
won't have anyone with titling, but we will have my manager is going to be there. And I know that his name is Anthony Miller. So if you decide, hey, you want to stop by our booth, he will be there and he can chat with you for a little bit.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, I know that you probably have to share this with your team and, you know, get some opinions together. So what's going to be, I guess, a good time for us to, you know, follow back up and,
Yeah,
you know, get some fun